I've said it many times, but it's worth repeating. The resentment and the revenge of the MAGA movement really have nothing to do with the economic anxiety. Even the richest person on earth who got the exact government and policy he campaigned for still can't stop whining, and you won't believe how trivial those midnight tweets are. Well, maybe you will, because it's been going on for years. This guy recently joined a huge choir of conservative influencers denouncing a movie for casting a black actress. He got into at least 4 Twitter conversations to heat up the topic. And the said movie, as you know, is a completely fictional and supernatural story with sirens and everything. So I'm not gonna argue with them about the historical accuracy and stupid shit like that. But do the math, guys. Elon has enough money to make 1,000 Odysseys without causing a dent in his living standard. He can make a movie on the moon if he wants to. If he thinks Oscar is too woke, he can make his own fucking Oscar. He could just set aside maybe 0.5% of his wealth to reward white-only movies. What's the big deal? Like a golden little Donald for every winner, right? And I'm sure Jeff Bezos will chip in. That guy spent 75 mil on the Melania movie alone. They can totally afford an academy of white movies and knock themselves out with Kid Rock or whatever geniuses they have. Who's gonna stop them? But nope. They don't want to make movies. They hardly watch movies. They just can't let other people make movies in peace. The dude purchased an entire social media platform for $46 billion so he can shout from the biggest megaphone on earth. But somehow he still feels marginalized by some movies. What delicate creature did God make? This is why I don't bother finding a middle ground with MAGA. No matter how much they have in their pockets, they always see themselves as the victims. You will never see a day when they are like, oh, we have enough money now. We'll just leave you guys alone. That will never happen. If having $500 billion can't stop a man from being bitter, nothing can. As long as there's one happy person, one successful person outside their tribe, they'll keep sending the attack dogs. By the way, look at this. The conservatives already gerrymandered the shit out of southern states since the segregation years. And now they're doing this together. This is like an electoral equivalent of ethnic cleansing. I know movies and redistricting sound like different topics, but they really strike me the same way in the sense that a certain section, maybe not all, but a significant section of American white men do not seek compromise at all. Common good is not in their dictionary. They don't focus on what they can achieve. They focus on what they can prevent other groups from achieving. Whether it's seats in Congress, or roles in the movies, or spots in law schools, or even just the rights to stay in the fucking country. They know that beating down other groups may hurt the economy, but who cares about the economy when they're already at the top of the food chain, right? Why not focus on revenge and punching down and whining and crying and all that fun stuff, right? Don't underestimate the significance of the right-wing complaint about movies. If they finish up the coup, entertainment is one of the first areas on the chopping block. Can you find any example of a one-party dictatorship allowing free creation of movies and TV shows? You can't. Even an economic giant like China, which makes every object in your household, rarely makes a movie that you can remember, right? I had a video about China's dying pop music. Take a look if you are interested. The first thing any dictatorship does is always to control what you can see and hear. It's primarily about the censorship for the sake of regime stability, but it's also about revenge. Remember Trump was seething about not getting an Emmy for his stupid show. And Elon tried to do a comedy bit with Chappelle and got booed off the stage. They're filming that although they have all the power in the world and arguably some creativity, the cool kids of the artistic world would never take them seriously. Why? Because art is not just about monetary investment. It's not even about talent. You need to have a heart to be an artist. That's something the MAGA leaders don't fucking have. These people's attitude toward artists remind me so much of Mao's fury during China's Cultural Revolution. Of course, the Cultural Revolution was mostly a power struggle to purge Mao's rival faction in the party. But a lot of people believe it was also about jealousy. Mao did have some artistic talent. He wrote a bunch of okay poems. Not my cup of tea, but had some style. But he also knew that he would never be A-list in the world of art. So the treatment of artists during the Cultural Revolution was brutal. My top favorite Chinese playwright, Lao She, had to kill himself after hours of beating. It's hard to imagine, right? He was such a gentle soul who did nothing but write beautiful stories. Who did he ever hurt? But no, you're not allowed to exist if you're more loved than the supreme leader. I don't think China ever recovered from that. My children can hardly speak Chinese partly because modern Chinese movies and TV shows are just a bunch of bullshit. What I'm saying is that jealousy and revenge from powerful but uncultured people can be so devastating. Today it's just whining, no big deal. But if they manage to make their power permanent with radical tactics like this, I can't imagine what will happen next.